probably have a chronograph on right now and you might not even know it. Chronographs, to me, are one of my favorite complications. One, because it's probably the complication I sell the most, and it's probably, the complication that exists the most within the watch world. A chronograph kind of tells you what it is in its name. Chrono, Greek for time, and graph means to measure. So chronograph literally means to measure time. And that's really what all chronographs do. They're just stopwatches, and that might be a 60-second stopwatch, or, their chronographs, 12 hours, 30 minutes, and a lot in between as well. In the beginning, there was one. And what I mean by one, there's one button, and that was the monopusher chronograph. So with the monopusher chronograph, this one button would start, stop, and reset whatever you were timing, whether that be your horses going around the track or your cars or, whatever you're timing back then. The problem with the monopusher chronograph is you could never stop and restart at the same time. You would always have to reset completely whatever you're timing, and sometimes you might be running, take a break or something like that, and you kind of want to keep your time concurrent without resetting everything. Eventually we get to the 2-button function that we see now, where it's a button on the top, your crown in the middle, and the button down below. You still see monopushers today. You still do see a lot of traditional watches that are heritage releases that have maybe sometimes just 1 button or 2 buttons or a monopusher setting, and those are great as well. But it's good to know that now we have the ability to time in a little bit different ways. So most chronographs of today, you're gonna have 3 subdials. One subdial is gonna be what's called your true seconds. This will always be ticking when your watch is working. The second subdial, usually, not always, will be something that references the minutes. It might be 30 minutes or it might be 60 minutes. And your third subdial would reference the hours. So in your normal chronograph, when your big second hand does 1 revolution, the minute counter counts 1. When that does 1 full revolution, your hour hand counts 1, and that's how you count, whatever you're doing today. Within that, there are a bunch of different variances. A really great example of this is Breitling for Bentley Motors Speed Racing Edition. On this watch, it's actually a 30-minute chronograph because it's meant for cars, so everything goes a little bit faster on it. Everything's kind of split in half on a chronograph. So it's always important to read your layout or read the instruction manuals or talk to your watch guy, just so you can know exactly what the chronograph actually does. And that's the thing about chronographs. There's so many different flavors out there that you really want to kind of know what you're paying for, especially when you get to the higher end of watchmaking. A great example of this is the split-second chronograph. This is a way to time 2 separate things at once. So let's say we have 2 runners who run in a race. One runner finishes first. You can actually stop the chronograph, 1 second hand will stop, and another will actually keep going. This allows you to time 2 events or 2 runners or 2 whatever at the same time and have 2 results without having to restart your chronograph or having 2 watches present at the event at the same time. This was really, really important in watchmaking. A great example of this year was the release of the A. Long & Son triple split chronograph, which was really, really nice. That came out at SIHH, splitting up not only seconds, but minutes as well as hours. So another cool chronograph complication that you see out there is called the flyback or the Rattrapante. So let's say you start running, but you're doing multiple laps. You complete 1 lap and you can simply hit the reset button and your second hand resets and it starts going immediately. This allows you to time multiple events without having to go to the trouble of start, stop, and reset. This is really big in the car racing world because multiple laps going very, very fast and you want to be able to reset it really, really quickly. So another really nice feature of chronographs is that they're not standalone complications. They're often rolled into some of the best watches out there. You can see them with minute repeaters, you can see them, with moon phases, with so many different functions. And it's amazing to figure out how watchmakers are able to make this time and stopwatch work in synchronization with everything else. Because remember, within watches, everything is moving forward, and the chronograph is the one thing that stops, resets, and then comes back to the race. I'm CQ, and this is my take on different types of chronographs.